Okay, hello everybody. This is Dave from Tanked Up Life. Gonna do another video on my top fin angled view 10-gallon aquarium. Really interesting aquarium. I've done some videos before. It's the length of almost a 20. If you can see, this is a 20-gallon stand, and there's only about an inch and a half on each side. The tank's got this interesting angled front piece of glass which I love for aquascaping because it gives you just a lot of room since fish usually swim side to side, more so than up and down. Anyway, this tank has been up for about 6 weeks, and I have to say I'm really thrilled with the way it came out. Better than expected, no crazy algae blooms. I did heavily plant it kind of from the get-go. I have really not used liquid fertilizer because I'm kind of afraid of any algae blooms. I wanted to make sure that it was kind of rock solid as far as the cycle goes. I do have an Aqua Clear 30 filter on here. The filter that it comes with is really I don't know, it's kind of a piece of junk. So I have an Aqua Clear 30, no carbon, no CO2 injection. The light that it came with was a decent light, but I happen to have a Finnex programmable light that I used to use on my larger tank that actually fits on here. I had to kind of jerry rig the side, so there's actually no real mount. It's just kind of sitting here, but it's high enough off the tank, about the same as the stock light, but much wider, programmable. It does a sunrise and a sunset. It has a remote control. You can control how many hours it's on. You can even control the color setting. So I have this running about 8 hours a day, but it's really only about 5 hours on peak brightness, and then it slowly comes up and it slowly goes back down with a lot of blue reds. Blue and red light cause flowers to bloom. Now, I didn't realize this, but you need both blues and reds. And so that's what it has basically when it goes on and when it comes off. And you can see that it's working because, unfortunately, I don't know what this plant is called, but you can see the blooms coming out the top of it. And I noticed this in my larger tank also, that when I started using a blue and red light, I started to get blooms at the top of the plants. So anyway, really happy with this tank. I did not spend a lot of money on it. The substrate, probably the most expensive. I believe it was UN Systems. Underneath the sand is UN Systems, basically soil, I guess, for all intents and purposes. It's little encapsulated nuggets, and then that's covered with UN Systems sand. Not in the front, though, because I knew that I wasn't planting anything in the front. But basically, the main core of the tank has UN System plant substrate underneath the sand. I also use root tabs. I used API root tabs in general. Like over here on the side, I don't really know on the edge plants. There's probably no actual UN plant substrate that close to the edge. So I did stick some root tabs kind of all around. The rocks I got out of the a little streams that I have in my apartment complex, bleached them. They've actually worked out really, really good. So what I have in here is, I think this tank is pretty much fully stocked. I have 10 Ember Tetras, and I have to say I'm absolutely in love with these Ember Tetras. They're just beautiful. Really love them. The other fish are Glow Light Tetras. Now, not to be confused with the Tetras that are injected with coloring, and you look at them through black light. That's not what these are. These are Glow Light Tetras because they've got that reddish kind of beam that goes through them. Okay, also a very small community fish. There's 10 of those in there. And then I do have one electric blue ram over here, and I only have him because he was in my main tank and he was killing all of my cherry shrimp. He would swim up to them and bite their heads off. I've never seen that in my life, so I had to get him out of there because he was wiping out 6 to 8 shrimp a day. So anyway, other than that, I have 4 Autosynclus catfish in here. There's one in the back. Let's see if you can catch him sitting on the sand. I also have 2 panda loaches, which I just got the other day. I am super excited about them. Of course, now they're hiding. They're very similar in shape to the autocinkless catfish. The only thing I did not realize is that the panda colors, they're black and white, only stays with them while they're juveniles. Then they get more of a reticulated, less exciting pattern on them. But nonetheless, I'm really excited to have them. Let me see. There's an autocinkless inside the plant there. So I've got one Java fern right in the middle. I've got some red root floaters. I have a 12 different Bucephalandra, which are very, very slow growing. Here's one. They're all over the tank. There's another one. There's one coming down off the rock. There's another one over here. They're kind of spread out. I don't know how they're going to do. They're very, very slow growing. There's one there. There's a couple glued onto the rocks up here. Hopefully they take hold. They've been, doing well. Again, they're probably the slowest growing aquarium plant. So they would go faster with CO2 injection, but I just don't want to be bothered with CO2 for this tank. I wanted something very simple in my bedroom. I also have a water wisteria back here, which is really just filling in a gap. I have a dwarf red tiger lotus that's coming from Dustin's fish tanks, is where I get most of my plants. And so the red tiger lotus is probably going to go where that water wisteria is, but I've got a ton of water wisteria in my bigger tank, so I put it in here just kind of to fill that opening to make sure there's a lot of plants to outcompete the algae. But that's probably going to come out when I get Thursday. Is in 2 days is when that red tiger lotus is supposed to arrive. I've got some Anubias Nana Petite. Okay, here's one right here in front, glued to the rocks. There's another one, and then another one in the back. I have Hygrophila corymbosa compacta, which is this brighter plant. There's one in the back there, and there's one right here. It's basically a brighter version. Here's another one of Anubias, which I really like. I tried to focus on this tank on much more plants that epiphytes that didn't need to be in substrate, because I have never dealt with sand before, and I really wasn't sure. The technique from the Aquascaper is online, where you basically cover the sand, the substrate with sand. I kind of was a little iffy about how that would work, and I didn't want the substrate to be popping up through the sand. So I bought one smallish bag of the plant substrate, but so far it's actually worked really, really well. I have Ludwigia triple red in the back, and also in this back corner. And I have one mystery snail. He's digging around right up there. I don't know what this plant is called. I got this at my local fish store, but it's actually doing pretty well. And I don't recall this plant that's in the back. But overall, I think that the plants seem to be doing pretty good. This is another Hygrophila that's in the back that I took from my big tank. I just needed something to disrupt the water flow a little. What was happening was, this is an Aqua Clear 30. It has really, really nice output. And so it was digging a hole, the current, in the front corner of the tank. So kind of one of the reasons why I aquascaped it like this was to kind of block that water flow. And I needed a plant that could put up with a lot of current. And this Hygrophila is actually, doesn't seem to mind the current. I forgot what this guy's called. I picked this plant up at the pet store, and I kind of like how it hangs over the top. Okay, because I wanted to be able to use the red root floaters, but I didn't want them to be, hammered by the filter, and then they kind of get stuck. They turn upside down. So this kind of carpets right across the top. Worked out better than I actually anticipated. The fish feel safe. They have shelter across the top. When I feed them, that kind of holds on to some of the food. So, they kind of go up there to feed. So overall, I just am really, really happy with how this tank came out. It just really came out great, I think. And the fish generally are not really that frightened. I can sit in front of the tank all day. Even I have two Java loaches in here, which are basically the brown coolie loaches, and they come out all the time when I feed the fish. It's kind of shocking. and at least one of them comes out and kind of zips around between the rocks and the plants. And usually, if you have coolie loaches, you pretty much never see them from the day that you put them in the tank. But not the case with these guys. So yeah, overall, very very happy. Like I said, I changed the filter out to an Aqua Clear 30. The stock light was decent, but I changed the light. Oh, here comes a Panda Cory. I mean, a Panda Loach. Let's see if I can get him on the video. Okay, that's him there. You see he's a black and white on that leaf. Two of those. Now, the other thing I found out about Panda Loaches is they are known to possibly have parasites, internal parasites, because generally they're wild caught from some stream in China. I don't know if these are wild caught or not. I know that the fish store only had two of them, and those are two I have. I didn't know this until after I put them in this tank, and I don't have a quarantine tank set up. So I'm hoping they don't have parasites and they don't get all my fish infected, because I don't really want to have to treat this tank when it's really up and running. And I think it just looks, at least from my point of view, this is exactly what I wanted. It was a beachy type feel. That mountain of rocks look that slowly drifts down. And then this side was kind of too empty, which is why I kind of added some stem plants there. I know some people I could probably do away with this and put some more low-growing plants, but I kind of liked the look of some stems in the corner there, in the back, to kind of even out the tank. It's just kind of got that wildish look, but I think it's fairly similar to what some underwater scenes may look like. Okay, the Panda Loach is back out again. And I know Panda Loaches, this is basically very similar to the environment that they hang out in. Look at that guy. He was about $14. Just absolutely loving him. So anyway, that's an update on the tank. Again, it's about 6 weeks up and running. I did massive water changes. I use the Aquarium Co-op test strips. I know they're not the best. They're not super accurate. I do have the regular API freshwater kit that I kind of use to double check. But it's a quick, easy test to see if your nitrites and nitrates, where they're at. So I was able to get the tank cycled with, I used Seachem product that has a beneficial bacteria. And I was doing water changes, 50% water change every other day to kind of keep this tank in check. Then I dropped it to about 1/3 water change every other day. Now it's basically rock solid. I am using Purigen in the filter. I just replaced it. I just recharged it. Purigen, and obviously that's substrate for beneficial bacteria. And it's got the big sponge on the bottom. I do have a little net that I put on the filter intake because it was sucking up my little Java Loach was living inside the filter. So I have a little screen that I put over the intake. I do have an air stone only because this tank is really long, and I felt like all the water movement was on this half of the tank, and I want to make sure that there was some water movement on this side. So I do have an air stone over there. I don't know if it's going to stay in that spot. I generally don't use air stones, but I felt like the way this tank is designed, where the filter cannot be in the center, it has to be on the end, because there's a cutout in the glass. If you can see here, now I put a piece of plastic here, but the glass is curved, so your filter kind of has to go here. But if you see, the Aqua Clear 30 fits absolutely perfectly in that little groove. And I put the plastic there because mystery snails can get out, Java Loaches, coolie loaches can get out. So far so good. Anyway, that's my tank. And I have to say that I sit here at night with the lights off in my bedroom, and it's just very peaceful to just observe the fish doing what they do. It's just really a peaceful, almost a meditative aspect. There's another Cinclus in the back. There's another one in the back. This guy is pretty beautiful. I think from the light background of the tank, he doesn't show off his colors that much. Same with the glow light tetras. They have more intense color against the darker backgrounds, but that's okay. I kind of like the way this is, this tank came out better than I had ever anticipated, considering that I really spent very little money. A lot of the plants are just clippings from my main tank. Others I bought online. The Bucephalandra came from eBay. It was a variety pack of 12 Bucephalandra for like $25. You kind of can't beat that. Any questions or comments, please let me know. Anything I can do better. I do use Aquarium Co-op Easy Green fertilizer, but I've used this very sparingly in this tank. Because again, I just don't want an algae outbreak going on in here. I think I have ample algae eaters between the 4 autosynclus and the 2 panda loaches. I also do have a hillstream loach. I don't know where he is. He's probably stuck on the wall in the back, but there is one hillstream loach in here also. So that's my cleanup crew. I'd love to add shrimp to this tank, but I cannot add shrimp with this evil electric blue ram that likes to kill my shrimp. And I don't really know. I don't think these panda loaches are known to eat shrimp, but I'm not 100% sure. So between the coolie loaches, the panda loaches, the autosynclus, the reticulated hillstream loach, my sand has stayed remarkably clean, which is definitely a problem. If you're going to do a sand substrate, you want to make sure that you've got something cleaning your substrate, or you can very easily get an outbreak of algae across your sand, which is fairly disastrous to try to maintain. I wanted to do cory catfish. I was going to do some smaller species, although the pygmy cories I just felt were too small. I have them in another tank. And the regular cories, like panda cories, which are known to be small, I just felt like they were going to just wreck the tank. Between the soft sand and most of the plants are just held down by the rocks and pebbles that they're under, because most of these are epiphytes. I was just too afraid to put cories in here. I would love to have panda cories in here, or pygmy cories in here, but I just felt like the pygmy cory wasn't the answer, and the panda cories would probably be, too aggressive and just wrecking this tank. But as you can see, autosynclus to me are like the ultimate algae-eating fish. They're just amazing, and they get along with everybody. And my sand is really pretty much spotless. So, anyway, that's my video update on this tank, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Any questions or comments, let me know. Please give me a like if you enjoyed this content. I'm not a professional YouTuber, but I'm trying to get a little excitement going with these tanks. I will be putting my video of my big tank up shortly. I'm just waiting for some more plants to arrive on Thursday, because I kind of rescaped it, and now it's got some openings and I want to fill in before I do the next video. But anyway, that's it, folks. Enjoy.